everyone. Welcome to another episode of Taking Up Space on Michelle A. Mayer podcast. Super excited about today's conversation, y'all. Always excited. Today, you guys, I have a brief conversation I want to bring to light on the spirit of Delilah. I know Jezebel gets a bad rap. You know, Jezebel is the Bible's ultimate bad girl. But Jezebel, I'm telling you, not Jezebel, but Delilah has Jezebel beat, y'all. Delilah has Jezebel beat because you got more Delilahs running around here than you will ever see of Jezebel. It takes a certain type of woman or man to really be strong enough in themselves to come forward with that Jezebel spirit. Everybody's not working with that. A Jezebel spirit is a real alpha kind of spirit, even though it may not want to stand in the light. It's an alpha spirit in the sense that it takes a lot of will and a lot of determination internally to really embody that Jezebel spirit. As wicked as it can be, you must speak the truth to things. We can't be haters. There's no haters over here. We're just this is a channel for truth reporting and integrity speaking. We're not hating on anybody over here. We're speaking the truth. And the truth is that when you come across the Jezebel spirits, you will find with them every Jezebel spirited person, woman or man that I've met, had a core, a strong core. They pretty much stand in the integrity of who they are and what they stand for. They're not hiding. They're not sneaking around, and they're not doing that. Now, their methods may be a little sneaky at times, but they are who they are. And they don't make no bones about that. And there's a level of respect that must be given to someone like that. I respect people like that. It takes a lot to do that. So, because I know what it takes to do and embody that, I respect that in people, regardless to what their intentions are or their method of operation is or what they stand for. That internal strength is what I'm talking to, that I respect. And most Jezebel spirited people have that level of internal strength going on within them. But the Delilahs, you know, on the other hand, they're not comparable to the Jezebel's, friend. The Delilahs of the world, y'all, all of us know them. Some of y'all are Delilahs, some of y'all not. The Delilahs of the world are the ones that low-key competing against you. You know, they're up under you, watching you, trying to see any kind of way of finding a way of benefiting off of you. Low key finding a way of one-upping you so that they can be you or they can be better than you. They come in the form of people that you might be in a relationship with. You know, a lot of times men are in relationship with Delilahs like Samson was. The story of Delilah and Samson is beyond a male and female relationship. Delilahs can be your friends. I've seen the Delilahs of the world most often in friendships, y'all. Women friendships, male friendships, all kinds of friendships. They really show themselves in friendships. It has been my experience when I've seen them. That's when I see them most. So let's get into the story of Samson, and then we can cross-reference some things to kind of pinpoint it and how to approach it. Because I find this spirit most prevalent more than the Jezebel spirit. I have seen the Delilah spirit most prevalent than the Jezebel spirit throughout my life. The story of Samson and Delilah was that Samson loved a specific type of woman. He liked the Philistine women. I just did the Bible study and yesterday, and then a couple of days ago I did another podcast, and I've been speaking to the Philistines. The Philistines were Israel's arch nemesis. They all shared the same environment. These are all Canaanite people. Believe it or not, the Israelites are Canaanite people. They were out of this area called the Levant. And the Philistines were a people that had Nephilim bloodlines. The fallen ones had mated with many of the Philistine people. They were mighty because they were men of war. They had a lot of war technology. They knew war techniques. They were conquerors. They were a formidable opponent to Israel. And they had giants that would represent them in war. So they had advantages when it came to war and things of that nature. And Samson is an Israelite. He's strong. He's kind of like David. He's strong and he's physically fit. He's capable just by himself. He doesn't need any technology. He's not a giant. He is a whole individual as it relates to how God created us to be. He is in the natural order of our creation. And he is a formidable opponent against anyone, even a giant, standing in the natural aspect of God, of how God created all of us to be. He's a representation of that. So, he's public enemy number one to these Philistines. And Samson starts fooling around with this woman who many say was a Philistine woman. There's no proof that Delilah was a Philistine, but all roads lead to it. She dated a lot of the powerful Philistine leaders, the Philistine lords, and she lived within the Philistine region. So when the Philistines heard that Delilah was dating Samson, or Samson was smitten by her, he liked her, they come to Delilah. And I'm going to read what is said when they come to Delilah. This is out of Judges chapter 16, verse 4. And it came to pass afterward that he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. And the lords of the Philistines came up unto her, and said unto her, entice him, and see wherein his great strength lieth, and by what means we may prevail against him, that we may bind him to afflict him, and we will give thee every one of us 1,100 pieces of silver. So the lords of the Philistine come to her. They make no quarrels about their intention. They telling her, I want you to set him up. I want you to set Samson up so that we can harm him in whatever way we decide. And when you do this, I want you to find out where his strength is. Make him trust you enough. Make him love you enough to feel so comfortable with you that he will tell you where his strength is. And if you do this, each one of us, it doesn't say how many it was, but each one of us will give you 1,100 pieces of silver. Then the next verse goes to this. And Delilah said to Samson, tell me, I pray thee, wherein thy great strength lieth, and wherewith thou mightest be bound to afflict thee. So it goes from them propositioning her to her actually acting upon it. That's why I say the Bible don't give you no in-betweens. It gets straight to the point. So the point is that she bought in. And she herself came unto Samson and said unto him, tell me where your strength lies and where all of your power is so that I can afflict you. She didn't lie to him at all. And this is what brings this conversation up. A lot of us are walking around here with open enemies. People that are showing you exactly who they are. You just don't believe that they have the ability to do it. You don't believe that you're not competent enough you believe that you're competent enough to overcome it. This is Samson. Friends, this is Esau. If this ain't Esau and Jacob, all of these things keep occurring. Delilah doesn't come to Samson with a lie. Delilah comes to Samson with the truth. It's just she said it probably with sweet words. She probably cleaned herself up and oiled herself down and put on a flattering outfit, whatever it may have been. She probably perfumed herself. She probably had somebody playing a harp somewhere. She probably had incense, some sort of scent burning in a comfortable environment with all kinds of fruit and food. Yet the words she said were the same words. They were the same truths, whether she said them in that particular environment or she said it screaming at him. She spoke the truth to him. And he's not seeing it as a threat. He's seeing it as her wanting to have the upper hand. Yet he's laughing at her probably in his mind like, you know how many people probably ask me this, you know how many people ask me this question all the time, and now here you come. And he tells her a lie. He tells her, my strength is in such and such, and she runs, she tells the Philistines, oh, he told me his strength was in such and such, and she tries to prove it and it doesn't work. She does these things 5 times. And each time he notices, yet he never distances himself from her. He never confronts her. He never has a conversation with her as to, why do you keep asking me this? He never does anything to protect himself from her because he doesn't see her as a threat. Same way with Jacob and Esau. Esau was the firstborn son. The birthright should have went to him. Yet he didn't take it seriously. He didn't see the benefit of it. Never in a million years would he have ever thought that his brother and his mother would have swindled him out of his birthright, if you want to call it swindling. Because they didn't actually swindle him out of it. He forfeited it because he didn't take it seriously. And this leads me to what could have resolved all of this. You must protect that which protects you and that gives you power. You got to protect your anointing. You can't take your birthright. You can't take your anointing for granted. You cannot. He allowed the feelings of his flesh to allow him to lose his power. He lost his power because eventually he told Delilah the truth, that his power lied within his hair. And many of us look at this Samson and Delilah story like, oh yeah, Samson was just stupid. Samson was over there stuck on stupid. Samson was in love. Samson was sprung on Delilah. And Samson got played. And in a lot of ways, that's exactly what happened. But how many of us out here doing this? Even in friendships. Many of us are in friendships with people we know are just our friends because they want to know what we're up to, because they find us a competitor. They can gain information on things that will benefit them from us, so they stay close to us. We know that we're surrounded by people that will never be there for us if all the chips were down. If all the chips were down and I wasn't a good look and it wasn't popular to be standing next to me, you would shake me. You would testify against me in court. You would talk bad about me to people like I never did anything to you. You would tell all of my business that you were privy to. How many of us know and have people like this in our lives? This is the same situation with Samson and Delilah. Samson had to have known that Delilah was looking to sabotage him. But just like anybody that's great at anything they do, anybody that's watching this that has reached the level of greatness within themselves at any time in their lives, you know for yourselves that there will be people like Delilah that will come upon you and want to befriend you or be in a relationship with you, and they're truly not vested in you. And so the Delilahs of your life, the Delilahs come in and out of your lives. And they come in and out of your life so much that you feel like you got a handle on the Delilahs. You can spot them a mile away. And you can keep them in your lives because the truth be told, friend, the Delilahs are fun. The Delilahs of life are fun. I don't care if they're friends. I don't care if they're your mate. The enticing aspect of the Delilahs is that they are big fun. They provide a release in some way of laughter, of fun, of whatever. So you'll allow them close to you because you feel competent enough in keeping all of that low-level energy, all of that competitiveness, all of that low-key jealousy when it shows itself. You can handle that. You can manage it until you can't. Until you can't. And then the Delilahs of your life become paramount. In Samson's case, the Delilah of his life ruined him. She kept at it so much because she had more vested in it than him. She would have became something she never could have been without him. He was the central figure of her life. This is the strongest man of Israel, and she has his heart. So whether she would become his wife, which could never happen, he could have never married her because Israelites could never marry the Philistines. So she could always have to be the side girl. Until the lords of the Philistine come to her and tell her, we'll pay you 1,100 shekels of silver each if you tell us where his strength is. Now she's on to something. Now she can be put on a level that she would never have been able to aspire to otherwise, overshadowing her relationship with Samson. Samson would never be able to provide her that type of life. He would never be able to become her husband. So it's fair to say that she had more vested in his demise than he had in managing her wickedness, insecurities. And through time and perseverance and her dedication to finding where his power was. She was dedicated to finding where his power was. Because like I said, her livelihood depended on it. Her finding where his power lied would change her whole lifestyle. She would never have to lay with another man unless she wanted to. She would never have to deal with certain situations again unless she wanted to. All from conspiring against a man that loved her. Same way with Jacob and Esau. Esau could never see what Jacob saw because Esau was born into a birthright by default. And Jacob stood in the shadow of that birthright, watching the brother that had the crown of the birthright misuse it. Knowing he would never be able to aspire to what God granted his brother. And his brother not really having to adhere to any kind of protocol because he was born into that birthright. He didn't have to earn it. He totally mismanaged it, took it for granted because he didn't have to earn it. He had no fear of losing it. How do you lose a birthright? You don't. All of this was unheard of until it happened. Many of you looking at this video know what I'm talking about. If you live long enough, you know that the Delilahs in your world, or you've seen them in other people's world. You know the Esau's and the Jacobs of your life. You've seen them in other people's lives if you don't know them in your own. Your anointing, your birthright must be protected. Just as it protects you, you must be protective of it. You can't go everywhere and you can't be with everybody because of that. Where much is given, much is expected, friend. And these two analogies of Samson and Delilah and of Esau and Jacob are representative as to what happens when you mismanage your birthright and when you mismanage what protects you and what anoints you. As usual, just coming forward with information that I think is relevant and that you might be able to find useful in your lives. I love you so deeply. Be good to yourselves and be good to each other. Peace and love.